Hey guys, welcome back to the course. So today we're going to be talking through search query reports in Google. Now, search query reports are a really beneficial and crucial part of the overall management of your Google Ads account. How it works is it basically gives you full insight into what users are typing into google.com. So you need to bear in mind that there's a key difference between the keywords in your account and the search term that somebody might type into a search engine. So search terms are exactly what someone's wrote in the search box, and the keyword is the keyword that you actively added into your campaign ad groups. Now, you'll get different search terms included in your search term report depending on the keyword that it's matched out to. So for example, when we talk about match types, we've got different variations. We have exact, phrase, broad and broad match modifier. And this determines what search terms are eligible to show for these keywords. So if we use the example red shoes, if someone was to search for red shoes and you have the keyword red shoes is exact in your account, then it's eligible to show. But if you had red shoes in your account as a phrase match, somebody might search for buy red shoes or red shoes for women, and that will also be eligible to match to your phrase match variation of the keyword red shoes. Broad match is going to leave you open to a lot more relevant terms because it matches a lot more broadly. So if, for example, you've got the red shoe keyword again, it could potentially show for things like pink shoes, which might not be relevant to your business. And then finally, you've got phrase match. And phrase match is, finally you've got broad match modifier. And broad match modifier is basically any keyword that you have within the account with a plus sign in front of it means that that keyword can show for a search term in any order. So if we go back to red shoes, if someone was to search for shoes red, you would still be eligible to show. Now, search query reports are, very, very beneficial. They're going to help improve, Hi guys, welcome back to the course. So today we're going to be talking through search query reports. So you might hear them abbreviated as SQRs and sometimes called search terms reports as well. So basically the search term report, the benefit of doing this is to identify search terms with basically high potential for your account. So anything that's really relevant that people are entering into Google, you're going to want to add those into your keyword list within your Google Ads campaigns. It's also really useful to identify irrelevant search terms as well. So with all the will in the world, we're not going to be able to stop every single term that we don't want to appear for. So a search query report allows us to review the data that's coming through, review what someone is actually typing into Google and what we are matching out to, and add them in as negatives to our account as well, just to make sure that we avoid spending money and showing to people for things that aren't of interest, if it's not relevant to your business. So just to reiterate the difference between a keyword and a search term. So the search term is the word or words that a customer enters when they're actually searching on Google. And the keyword is the words that we as the advertisers create in our Google Ads campaign to match out and target our potential customers. Now we're going to have a look at the search query report and how to analyse the data today. So first of all, we're going to log into our Google Ads account, so at ads.google.com. Once you're in here, you'll come to the usual main page navigation of the overview, and we're going to drop down on the side menu here under keywords. And automatically you'll be taken to your search keywords. So these are the keywords, again, that you've entered in your account that you want to bid on. But we're going to look at the search terms option here. So if you drop down and click on the search terms. Now, typically, search query reports should be high up on your regular optimization list. So you want to be doing these depending on account size, maybe once a week, it might be once a fortnight or once a month, depending on how much data you've got running through and how tidy and strict your account is. And also, obviously, the match types that you're using. If you're only using exact match keywords, then, the search term report is going to hopefully need a lot less maintenance. But if you've been building out your account using broad match modifier, phrase or broad terms, then you're definitely going to want to spend a little bit more time looking at your search query reports. Now today I'm looking at an account for Legacy Pets, and so these are a cremation service for your pets, and we're going to have a look at the keywords that that have been matched out and triggered the search terms. So let's just make sure we've got all the columns that we want in place. So as always, if you want to adjust columns on the report that you're looking at, you can hover over here to this column section and you can take a look at the additional areas that you can add in. So you can see the breakdown of what we've got. What I want to make sure of is that I've got the keyword in here. So what this will do is it will show the keyword in our account that the search term is actually matched to. So it gives you a lot more granularity. And then we want the typical metrics of impressions, cost, etc. You might want to swap interactions for clicks. It depends how you want to look at your data. Apply that and then we can download. So I'm going to change the date range here to just the last 14 days just to take a look at what's been going on, and then I'm going to download that as an Excel CSV for me to view and show you how to run through. So once we open this up, you're going to see a breakdown of the data that we've just seen on the screen. So just show this on here. There we go. So you can remove the top two columns quickly just so you can start filtering your data. I always put a filter on straight away, first point of call, and then let's start having a look at the data. So first column's your search term, then you've got your match type that's it's matched out to, and then you've got a breakdown of all the different data points as well. So you've got your impressions, interactions, cost, etc., clicks, so on and so forth. Your keyword, I'm just going to cut this and pop it over next to my search term so I can see it a little bit more clearly as to what's being matched out. Now the important part here is you don't want to spend time running through the keywords that are in your account already, so that you've added as a keyword or a negative keyword. So what you're going to do is on column D here in my sheet where it says added and excluded, anything that's added can be removed. So what I tend to do is just untick the none and then just select all these and delete them out. So you're only left with search terms that you haven't optimized yet. You can also delete the total columns at the bottom as well. So now all you're left with is any search terms that haven't been added into your account or excluded. So we'll start having a little look. Where you'd see a blank cell here is where, in this account's case, is running a dynamic search ad campaign, so it's not keyword related. It depends if you're actually running these in your account or not. And so for the case of this, I'm going to remove DSA for now. So you don't need to worry about this at the minute. You would just do this as normal and go through and add and exclude certain keywords. But I'm just going to show you the search keyword SQR for now. Okay, so this is what we've got. So I would also sort it by your impression volume, descending. So you're going to see the highest volume of search terms that's coming through as well. You want to try and be as granular as possible with your search query report. When you've got a report this size, so for example 129 rows, it's not a huge amount of data to have to kind of manually go through. So I would spend the time going through it. But in some cases you will see accounts where you've got thousands and thousands of rows of data, and some of them might just be what I call one hit wonders, one impression, one click, for example. And it might be, in an effort to save time, going through every single search term that comes through for one impression might not be the best use of your time. But if you can go through and kind of optimize the higher volume ones, that would be your main focus for the account. So we're going to have a little look. So what we've got here, we've got the keyword, how much does it cost for cat cremation? Now this is matched out to, because it's on broad, it's matched out to vets for pets euthanasia cost. So it is related, but euthanasia obviously isn't a cat cremation. It's basically getting your animal put to sleep. So the next stop after an animal put to sleep is potentially a cremation if a customer wants to go ahead with that. So this is a keyword that's matched out to a search term that's got a little bit of irrelevance related to it, and depending on your business and what you want to achieve from the keywords and the potential customers that you want to capture, you may or may not want to include this. So I know for this business that euthanasia is something that they're branching out into, but is not available as of yet. So for now, I would add this as a negative. So I'm going to highlight it in red and say I don't want this to be shown on my account right now, but I do, when in the future I can look to build it out. So again, we've got pet euthanasia, and then what you'll notice as well is you will have themes that start to establish themselves within the search query report. So straight away I know euthanasia is something that I want to negative out. So I can quickly do a filter for euthanasia instead of actually going through manually, and I know that all these I'm going to exclude for now. So straight away you're quickly going through things. So CPC pet cremation prices, yeah, relevant. I'm going to leave it in white if it's relevant. Cat urn I know is relevant. Cat coffin, interesting way of searching potentially is for a pet. They're not usually called coffins as we've got in the account, it's called a casket, but I do know that there is related, and this is why even though an exact match, Google has actually matched out a coffin because it deems the search term to have the same meaning as cat casket, which it does. So I'm happy for that to be in the account. Again, dog cremation cost, happy with that. Dog coffin, again, it's matched out based on the fact that it's relevant to this keyword. Pets at home cremation. So pets at home is what we would class as a competitor. So it's not our brand. So depending on your approach for your competitor strategy, it might be that you want to actively bid on competitors and you've got a strategy around what you're doing with competitor activity, or you might want to exclude this. So in my case, we're just going to exclude this out for now. My dog has died, what do I do? So this is matched out to the broad match modifier variation of my dog died. So obviously it's got the words my dog died somewhere in this search term. So with this, this is what I would class as kind of a almost like a prospecting term. They don't know what to do. They're not looking for your service yet in this case, or they're not looking for a dog cremation. They just don't know what to do with their animal now that it's passed away. So this is a really good opportunity for like a nurturing journey and capturing the user at a time where they need a little bit of advice. So this could be a search term that in this case would add into the account as a keyword and direct it to kind of some informational based content to say this is your options and what you can do when your dog's passed away, before trying to force them down the route of actually making a conversion. So I'm going to leave that in there as relevant. And you've got other different variations of location, so Doncaster, near me, etc. I know that Doncaster is an area that we do not want to target. It's too far away for the business. So this would be a negative in this case. And it's interesting that this is matched out because it is quite different to the actual keyword. So how much does it cost for a cat cremation has matched out to pet cremation in Doncaster. And the reason for this, and this is a good example just to give you more of an indication of the match types and how broad they can be. This is on broad match, so Google has deemed it, it's matched out to something that it shows as kind of related but could be too broadly related in some cases. Luckily for us, the pet cremation part is correct, but the Doncaster location isn't, so we're going to add that in as a negative. That's all fine. Cremate cat name, yeah, fine. Again, same situation, dog cremation, we picked up Edinburgh. So that location is not something that we want to target because it's not in our target location. We can't reach there. So again, that would be a negative. And then you've got things like this that is interesting that pops up sometimes. So dig cremation. That's potentially obviously a misspell of the word dog, and Google has identified that as a misspell and matched out anyway. But in this scenario, I wouldn't add this as a negative or positive keyword in the account, simply because dig cremation is is going to get picked up from the keyword dog as a misspell. So we don't need to put in the misspell variation of that, and I don't want to exclude it because some people, there's going to be cases when people type in the incorrect letter. Yourself, when you're typing fast on Google, you'll do mistypes quite often, and the volume here is very limited. This is 4 impressions in the last 14 days. I don't think it's an area where we need to think about having any kind of specific ads around it. You might have seen occasions in the past where there's been campaigns of bigger brands where you've done a misspell and they might have done a bit of play on words where you spelled that wrong, did you mean dog, for example. But with you have to bear in mind obviously your audience and what you're trying to capture. So something like dog cremation, where it's a sensitive subject, you're dealing with people who've lost a family pet, you're not really going to want to go down the route of a strategy of making fun of a misspell. So bear in mind obviously your audience, who you potentially looking to target. If it's kind of a fun kind of brand that you're working with, and you want to kind of you know, play around with a strategy where there's been a mistake and things like that, it could be a potential idea for you. But yeah, mainly you don't need to worry about misspells because they're going to get picked up as a close match variant of what you've already got in the account. So just moving through, so you're just going to work your way through the search query report and just highlight anything that you feel is irrelevant and keep anything that is relevant. So with the dig cremation, even though it's in white, I'm just going to make this one yellow to know that I'm not going to do anything with that one. I'm not going to add it into the account as an exact match keyword because I don't feel the need to do that. So just work your way through. So you're going to spend time on your account doing this, working your way through the different keywords. So I'm not going to go through every single one obviously with the training, but I just want to give you a sample of exactly what you'd be looking for. The next stage is then to kind of tidy it up and start making the changes in your account. So what I tend to do is just do a little sort. So sorted by colour. So I know that these ones I'm going to exclude from my account. I'm just going to pop that into another sheet or another tab, and then I'm going to add it as a negative. So this is where you can get quite quick and clever in terms of what you do with your negative keyword. So I'm going to pop that in as keyword, so it's not a search term. So remember, when you're uploading your data to Google Ads, you're uploading as a keyword, not a search term. So what I'm going to do here is you still need your match type. So pop a column in for match type, and then I'm going to filter it again. And I already know that there's a couple of keywords in here that have the same thing. So remember the euthanasia example. So what I want is, I've got all these different search terms that have been triggered in regards to euthanasia, but I know that the word euthanasia on its own I just don't want to show for. So what I can do is just get rid of the surrounding terms, have euthanasia, get rid of all these and pop that in as a phrase. So what will happen now is instead of having 4 or 5 different keywords added in the account as negative exacts because I had the word euthanasia within the search term, I can just add the word euthanasia as a phrase, and that means it'll just not show for any search terms that are in Google that include the word euthanasia. Then we've got pets at home cremation. So with this, I don't want to, there's nothing in here that I want to exclude overall except for pets at home. So cremation is still relevant to us. So the way the search query pets at home cremation is irrelevant overall, but actually pets at home is irrelevant for us because it's the competitor and we don't want to play for that at all. So I could just have pets at home and just get rid of the cremation and again have it on phrase. Again, Doncaster is the negative part of the term that I want to exclude. So again, we can just have Doncaster as a phrase. And same with Edinburgh and Cheltenham. Now, it's important that you kind of take time to make sure you know which match type you want to have apply to the negative terms, so that you keep your account nice and tidy. So just as an example, we might have for an exact match negative, we might have, I don't know, cat cremation. Let's just say someone's searching for cat burial, not cremation. So potentially we would want to appear for burial to capture them if they were looking for a burial and thought we could cross them over to a cremation. We always want to appear for cremation based terms. So in this case, we'd add it as an exact match negative because we don't want to show for cat burial, not cremation. It's obvious that somebody wants a burial and they don't want to get cremated, so we're not going to kind of spend money on an area that we can't capture. But we don't want to add burial, cremation or cat into our account as a negative phrase because there are other potential search terms that are going to include those that we want to appear for. Just make sure you spell them right as well. In my case, it's obviously not. But you can do a quick spell check, and I would always recommend whenever you're doing keyword builds, ad builds, campaign builds, etc., that you do always use the spell check option so that you keep your account nice and tidy. Then moving on from the negatives, we're going to do the exact match build. So this is where we will look at all the keywords that we want to keep. So I'm just going to take the first few, for example. So I'll just copy these. You'd be doing them on all of them, but just to give you an example. So remember, the search term is what someone's typed into the search engine. The keyword is what you originally have in your account. So we can get rid of the keyword section and we're going to rename the search terms to keyword. Then what you're going to do is you're going to build them into your account. So we know that the match type that we want to build it in as, we're going to have exact. So you can drag that down, and then your campaign is just going to be whatever campaign is relevant to your business. When you've gone ahead and actually categorized all your campaigns and ad groups, you're going to have something that looks a little bit like this. So all nice and tidy, you've got all your keywords, you've got your new campaigns, your ad groups, and your match types. So just really easy to upload into Google. I always use Google Ads Editor, just because it's an offline platform. It lets you upload everything really easily. You can check everything before you actually post it and make it go live on your account. So you can just select all and copy your data here. Open up your Ads Editor. Don't forget to get recent changes to make sure that your Google Ads Editor is up to date for your account. And then you can go ahead and press Account, Import, and Paste Text. So you pop that in. You're not going to see the suggested all the right changes for mine. It's got skipped because I've done this earlier, but your upload should say added or updated, finish review, and everything that's in there. So from my earlier upload, you'll be able to see all the keywords that I've added. So you can just keep those and make sure you check everything. Is it the right match type, etc. that you want? So in this case, mine are currently set to broad, so I'm just going to double check that and make sure that they're all actually changed to exact, and then I'll be able to post them. So the reason that it's kind of giving me these notifications at the minute is because I've already done this earlier in the day. So this is just an example, and you're getting any notification. So what's good about Google Ads Editor is it will give you warning signs if there's any mistakes on your account. So for example, so it should minimize the potential for errors across your Google Ads account. So none of this that I've just done here will go live unless I hit that post button. So I can literally just select them all and get rid of them as if nothing ever happened, and my account's just back to how it was. So once you've done that and you're happy with everything, you can post your data. I would also recommend doing your negatives through Editor as well, especially if you're doing account level negatives. So I'll give you some examples here. If you know that these are, you never want to show for some of these keywords across your account in any search term that a user might type into Google, you can pop into Editor again and jump into negative keywords and make multiple changes, and then to apply them across the whole account, you press use selected destinations, campaign level, and just select them. Then you can drop that in and process and review, and then keep the changes, and then you can see that this is applied across all the campaigns now. So just a really quick way to add in your negatives as well. So that's your SQRs. Make sure you keep up to date with them. They're crucial to the overall kind of management and efficiency of your account. You want to make sure that you're only spending money on search terms that are relevant for your business. So make sure you're adding in negative keywords on a regular basis and expanding your account with relevant exact match types. Thanks guys, and keep learning.